In today's video, I want to talk about the importance of educating our children around money from a young age. My name is Mar Heusler. I'm a financial coach and money mentor, and I've been working with thousands over the last 10 years to really improve their relationships to money and change the way they relate to their finances. And in today's video, I'm really going to dive into the tips that you can use with different age groups all the way through to start changing their relationship to money. I've noticed that our relationships to money really come from a young age. It can come from attachments. It can come all the way through to our trauma responses. So fight, flight, freeze, and fawning. It comes from a young age from the fact that either we didn't get enough food, we were fighting for it, all the way through to understanding, what our needs and wants in our teenage years, to then having our first jobs. So really, it's a journey. And everyone's relationship to money is different. So there's no right or wrong way to relate to money because we all start at different points and have different stories. So when we look at someone really young, I look at like young kids at the moment, my son, it's so important for them to start understanding the value of money, what it is, how they deal with it, what can be done with it, and also what narrative we're telling them around that. And it starts from that age of working hard for money, or like money is hard to come by, or we can't afford everything. Watching our narratives, loopings playing through our kids is already the first imprint that we have at that age. So it's really important to start with ourselves, to see what we are transmitting to our children as their beliefs are formed, as their understanding around money and the world around us is formed. Then, of course, we get to the age where they receive pocket money. And it's really important for them to understand how they are using this. If they're saving, putting some aside, buying the things they love, what that looks like and what money can enable. It's about looking at the bigger picture and saying, okay, you can have some things for the current moment, but also looking at the future and saying, what do you want to enable? And teaching children that from a young age, they can start understanding different concepts already, such as compounding. And a simple way to teach that your kids, it's like a snowball that is rolling, that in the future you can have a lot more. Of course, the future concept seems so far away, but what we want to do is understand the short term, medium, and then long term for them to see what their money can do. And once they can see that the money can grow, like in nature, which is a good analogy, that's a nice way to show them that we can use some money in the present moment and some in the future. Now, as I get into the teenage years of teaching children, it's been incredible. Recently, one of my clients said, could you please teach my 2 teenage daughters around money? And I loved this, because their eyes just lit up. And for me, the main things there were really understanding their pocket money, how much they're spending, budgeting. And in budgeting, I really touched upon needs and wants. What a need is, and nowadays it is a phone, not the newest one, that could be a want. It's shoes, but maybe not the newest trainers all the time. Different things so that they can start classifying what choices that they're making in their life and start taking these forward. These habits and understanding start from a young age that allow us to build different relationships to money as we grow up. Now, what was also incredible was to teach these girls about investing. And at that age, the understanding about compounding is a whole nother level. Really putting your money aside, investing it, looking at your future, making plans to enable things in their lives, such as buying a place in the future. One of them said she wanted a car. What does that look like when we start having a goal and start building towards it? And for me, that is the key, because a lot of us are not taught about this. We're stuck in the looping cycles of what I touched upon before, which are the mechanisms of fight, flight, freeze, and fawning. So it's really survival mechanisms that we're in. This is an adulting and growing up. And this needs to also happen around finances. As we grow up in different ways, our education around this is also really important. But as it's not taught or consciously looked at in so many different places, that is missed along the way. And so what we want to guide is that adulting to then be able to make projections. So a lot of times we're stuck in the short-term gratifications, but we don't look at the long-term projections of our lives and what we really want to create. So once I really could speak to the girls about looking at their futures, their goals, what they wanted, they could start imagining building that for themselves. By the end of the session, it was incredible. They said, we're never going to tell any man how much we have. We want to be millionaires. We can compound our money. We can start investing. What I really thought was important was the spark around money, the spark around their future, and also being able to own that future to make changes. And this for me is the key, that a lot of times we're really taught according to what family situation we're born into. For example, last night I did a money game here, and one of the ladies came up to me and she's like, I'm working, in an asset management firm, big money, big project, but my parents have both been workers and I feel like I need to get out of that mindset. She's like, I'm missing the entrepreneurial side of taking care of my finances and moving forward with it. Whereas others have said, I've really been entrepreneurial, but I want to really shift my life. I really want to start learning how to invest because I've always put my money into my entrepreneurship journey and not actually planned ahead for my future and my family's future. There's no right or wrong way. There's nowhere you think you should be a right place to start, let's say. We all have our own stories and we need to map and go through it. Now, what I find the key though in all of this is, and why I want to go back to teaching younger kids and why this video is here, is because I really feel like I'm working downstream. I still question a lot, like, why was I taught crazy algebra in school? All these formulas, things that I don't feel are so relevant to my life, but not taught about budgeting, taxes, investing, really basic personal finance. And this is where the key comes to, that if you understand your basic personal finance from a young age, this can move all the way through to your adult life and really create another future for you. So it's almost like rewriting generational patterns. And so once again, I want to go back to your kids to start from a young age. This is watching your mindset, how you're communicating about money with your young kids, with pocket money, teaching them what to do with it, even having jars, one for savings, one for spending, splitting their pocket money and saying, this we're going to put aside and invest or make it grow, and the other part you can spend, so that they can still enjoy today, but also know that the long term is coming, all the way through to creating a budget with your teenagers, looking at wants versus needs, explaining this in the world, and then also looking at how they can invest. And this is, I think, the key to everything around money. There is never going to be enough. You can always have more. The bigger house, the bigger car, the bigger thing, the bigger holiday, whatever else it might be. But you need to decide for yourself what your goals are, where you want to get to, and what's important to you. And if we can teach this to our children from a young age and convey this to them, it's not about what others have. It's not about how many more toys the others have, how much more they're enabled, but looking at your plate and how much is on your plate versus looking at other plates around you. It can make the whole change in their lives. And I believe it starts from planting the seeds from a young age, bringing this education to them in very simple ways. I've just created a sheet that I've worked with the kids for, but please just, DM me, send me a message. It is so important to get this message out into the world. And it starts with the younger children changing their relationship with money so that then we can change generational patterns and enable new lives for them from where we stand. So I hope this inspires you, because if you are still shifting your relationship with money, let's make that happen. And let's also make that change happen in your generational line for your kids so that you can really shift the way they're relating to the money and all others coming ahead of you. I really believe this is a big step in us changing the way we work, we show up in life, and what we're enabling. Moving away from dependency to co-creation and creating our own realities and making your financial future yours. I hope this inspires you. If you like it, please follow the channel, share this with others, and I just can't wait to share more about how we can really walk this path towards financial well-being and support each other along the way. All generations, all ages, but let's move out of this and make a change in the world.